Thank you, Dean Elmore, for joining us. I'd like for you to speak to President Brown's vision of choosing to be great.
Choosing to be great. I think that's an important piece, choosing being the important piece to it. And that means that there's a level of consciousness that's there. And I also think from a historical standpoint, we've always been that institution where we work hard, we'll try to outwork you, but we've always had this thing in the back of our minds where maybe we're not great. Maybe we're not as good as the places across the river. And I like that choosing to be great has a level of boldness with it. It's got a level of trash talk with it that says, no, 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 we can choose to be great. We will choose to be great. That's an important piece to this. And then there are these other elements of the plan. And, the plan deals with, I think, the thinking about the modern pluralistic institution of higher education, how that's going to change. I mean, the very notion of what we're doing right now represents possibilities about change. The way that people learn things, the way that people perceive of their environment, what is education, what's going to be important going forward, and how global does it need to be, what's global mean, what's pluralism mean. Those are important kinds of things. I think what's great here is when we look at the research enterprise, when we look at the value proposition, because those are important aspects about this plan. I think the plan is really about that. It is about the research enterprise. It is about the value of a residential education, or at least some portions of a residential education, and then what role for this concept called community in that, whether online, whether in a city, or whether on a small patch that we call a campus. Those are important questions, and that's what this plan is about. Now, the plan also talks about a couple of other important things. It talks about how that research enterprise, how that value proposition is laid out in relation to an urban experience. And an urban experience, I hope people don't just poo-poo that. I hope people don't just look at that as merely being a description of where we are. The urban experience is something that might be what the global experience ultimately becomes. I like to think that this is Mesopotamia. This is where the poets joined the business leaders. This is where the physicists and the engineers all came. People came here to make their way, create their businesses. People came to Mesopotamia to write their songs and to sing their songs and to entertain. That's a university. That is what a university should be about. And it's messy, though. It's where lots of cultures come and lots of cultures clash. It's loud, it's strong, it's right, it's wrong. Everything comes into that space. And certainly from a person like me, in my position, being the Dean of Students, I think that a piece of what I've got to do to support research, to support learning, to support the way a person's here and to get some value about how they're here is to foster that. To say, look, folks, it's all right to be noisy. It's all right to try different things. It's all right maybe this is a good place for you to fail a little bit. It's all right for you to learn how to engage in a set of conversations, how to engage your skills, how to engage your soul a little bit. It's all right to do that here, and I want to encourage that. It's not neat and clean. I almost feel as though my job is to be somebody in that Dr. Seuss book, right? Seuss is all about chaos. It's mayhem, but it's this controlled mayhem that happens. It's this controlled chaos that happens. And it also is this controlled chaos that ultimately has this real positive root